Presentation is going to be on WordPress. It's a kind of a introduction to it, and we're going to do something new this meetup, and let's actually have a bit of a competition, like you mentioned earlier. So pay attention to the presentation. There will be about 2 or 3 questions at the end of the presentation, and those who manage to get their answers correct will get stuff. So.
I'm Asper, working on WordPress. Today I'm going to discuss about introduction to WordPress development. It's a kind of introduction to development. How many of you know WordPress? How many of you have done WordPress development? I think I'm safe. So, at the end of the presentation, I expect you will understand some basic knowledge, basic things about WordPress development, and also I will ask 3 questions, and if you answer, we will give some prizes. Okay, let's talk about WordPress. So, first statement is a Wikipedia source. WordPress today, how? WordPress is a blogging engine or blogging platform, or we can say blogging software. So it's a software we can create a website. Sorry, we can't just say blogging platform. It's a website software. We can create a blog, a website. So it uses PHP, MySQL. Those are the technical languages. The second one is how WordPress describes themselves. They describe WordPress as a web software you can use to create a beautiful website or a blog. So here, why we choose WordPress, or else why client choose WordPress, or else why we are getting WordPress project. So first one, I understand it is easy to maintain. It's very client friendly. Even if you don't know anything about coding, you can create a WordPress website. That's the main advantage of WordPress. That I think that's why we are getting, developers getting projects, and we have to learn WordPress. So that's the main thing. If you don't, it's a very clean and simple backend or administration, admin CMS. So I think that's the first reason we are getting WordPress projects. The next one is availability of plugins and themes, and it has a good community support. There are people, another reason I guess people use WordPress because there are number of plugins. Most of them are free, and there are some paid plugins also. Like that, there are so many themes and paid and free ones. So, and also we have WordPress has good community support. So when you have a problem, when a client have a problem, they can just go to web and search and get some support. Other than contacting a website provider or website development company, I think they can get some support, and it will save some money from client side. So that may be a good reason why they choose and why we have to use. Then next one is for small scale CMS project. What it means, so this is the requirement. We have website to do, and we have to create a CMS for that. But it is very basic, and we don't need to spend much time on this. So if you think it is easy to use a CMS platform, so it's their WordPress we can use and we can customize. They are giving so many options. We can customize the WordPress. We can develop that the way we want. We don't need to follow WordPress and 2012 theme. Just by default they give 2012 theme, some free themes. So we don't need to restrict ourselves to the WordPress core. Also, it is easy to install and it's open source. It's a free one, so anyone can use, anyone can modify. So this slide, how does a WordPress site work? So normally, if we want to create a website, we can create just static pages. So if we want to make a dynamic, we have to create some CMS, content management system for the administration. So here, using admin dashboard, user or client or administrator can create the content and manage the website, and we can save. So that's what basic administrative section is for. The next is a front end. So which means we can say it's a team. Team is responsible to show the content to the user. So here we can create teams. So we don't need to restrict ourselves to the, as I told you, 2012 or blogging system, the one by one post, or the last post is first display. So we don't have restrictions. WordPress called nowadays, there is not just a WordPress blogging engine. It is a website tool. So developer has freedom, so they can decide how they have to display, what they have to display. So also we can modify. So it is very useful to modify according to the requirement. And before we start the project or before we do the development, we have to keep in mind we are going to do WordPress project. Because if you don't want to follow WordPress structure, and if you think you have to recreate everything, so we don't need to create WordPress. We don't need to use WordPress. So if you think WordPress is suitable for us, just use. So don't just recreate everything WordPress you. So the next part, just before we develop WordPress theme and plugins, so we have to get some basic idea about WordPress. If you understand these 5 terms, I think you can create a WordPress component. It can be theme or plugins or widgets, whatever. So I will try one by one. The theme. Basically, it's a PHP file. It's a template set of template file. So what we have to do is we have to create some PHP template. It's some file. So then WordPress will identify according to the request what it should tick and how it should work. So we don't need to worry about that. We have to think about template and the inside of the template when we create themes. So basically, there are 2 files a theme must have. One is index.php, another one is style.css. If you don't have that, it is not very WordPress theme. Okay, so I'll discuss about this. I'll give some small introduction to some files. So the header. So just think we have 2, 3 files, and we are just including. Just think we are just including. I assume you all know about web development. So just including files. So you can look at website. Even if index.php and style.css, it's for just single work stream. So single thing is that. So we are now the developer. If you develop two files. So header.php is a header template. It is for header template. So normally we include logo in the navigation bar. It's a common term or common way. So we can do whatever we want. But WordPress suggests also we should use WordPress function WP head before closing the head tag, because that function includes some WordPress internal hooks. Hooks mean we can say just action. So it uses some action. So plugin developers, because we say WordPress is a customizable platform. Some plugin users use that internal hooks to do some work, do particular work. So we should have we should have called WP underscore head function. So next part I will explain about the loop. After this, next one is sidebar PHP. So it's a template, it's a file. You can call it's a file. So basically, the sidebar is this is normally traditionally this is the sidebar, or we can do sidebar. So WordPress gives us option widgets. So we can just drag and drop the widgets, then it will show. So the places sidebar is for displaying a widget. Before we go deep theory, just understand what is sidebar. So we can develop, once we develop our first theme, you can understand, we can learn more about internal things. So before you use the sidebar, you have to register sidebar. So there are functions we can register sidebar. Other one is footer. It's a normal footer template. So we can footer.php is a we have create if you want footer, and WordPress has function get footer function. So WordPress will, when we call get footer, it will return this footer.php. So next thing is about plugins. So I said without knowing anything, you can just create a WordPress website. So normally people think there is a plugin for anything. There are some. WordPress has a lot of plugins, free and paid one. So understand this, what is plugins. So it's a component. It's a component to extend WordPress. Next is WordPress widget. This is for add the content to the content and features to the sidebar. So we have to register sidebar, and widgets are listed here. You can just drag and drop the sidebar and it will display. That's basic thing about widgets. We can download widgets, we can develop widgets, and we have to buy if it is paid. So next thing, somewhat complex and confused to me when I start the WordPress development. So post. basically in the blogging world, bloggers use a post. It's a written entry and published. Written and published to a blog. It's called. That's what people think. But WordPress uses post. The term post is a different way. In a different way. So they think it's a piece of content. So WordPress, this post is to identify the content, or we can call it's a content type. So we have just think we need content. It should be categorized, not it should be separated according to the requirement. So we have an option called post. So WordPress by default they are giving 5 type of post. So first one is post and the page and attachment and revision and navigation menu. These are 5 type of posts. And in the next slide you will get more information about the post. So WordPress has a unique way to maintain their content, the post. So post type. So as I said, all posts are saved in the same table. So they identify the content type using the type column. So they are if it is a post type post, if it is post type post, it saves as a post. If it is a page type post, it saves as a page. So by default, WordPress came with 2 posts and this post and page we normally use about. So normally people think only post and page can be used in a WordPress project. So if you want to create different set of content other than the default post and page, we have option to create custom post types. So using this we can extend the WordPress content. So here if you see this screenshot, here we have current events, past events, news. All are custom post types. So we can create custom post type using code, PHP code. So you have to write a function, then it will WordPress will create the post. We can create the custom post type by manually with this code, PHP code. Otherwise, there are so many plugins you can use. There are plugins, free plugins you can use. So now we have post, or we have data. Just think we have data. So we have to use that. To use that, we have to get it from the database. So this is the way we can get the data from the database. So we have to set up. So what is post type? And so post type, and we have to pass the arguments. Then we will return the post. It means if it is post type post, it will return post. If you mention post for page 10, it will return 10 page. So if it is page type post, it will return page, default page. If it is news type post, it will return news. So in this way we can get whatever data we want. So we have that freedom. We don't need to just stick to the post type post. So for more information you can just refer this link. There are so many functions in the properties we can refer. So do you have any doubt now? Any question? Please. Okay. Yeah. No. it depends on the plugin, because there is a way we can create the post tag. WordPress gives us an option to create custom post tag. So when you choose the plugin, first we have to, if you think this may be harmful to your system, you might want to just refer the code. Otherwise, you can just check the reviews. Because I said community support, there may be reviews about if it is a harmful plugin. So I think that's the way we can find out. Any question? So I think we have some knowledge about basic concept. So I don't say it is that the post and plugins and we get only the concept in the WordPress. There are some concepts, so you can refer if you want more. So I will move to basic best practices in WordPress development. This is what I learned, and I think this is good to have. We should follow this. If we follow it, will be useful. So I will divide as a 3 part. So first one is using third-party themes and plugins. I think first reason client asks WordPress because they can install plugins, they can install themes whenever they need. So it will change the appearance totally. So there are so many plugins. I think in WordPress plugin directory, there are I think 200,000 free plugins. So that's the reason people like WordPress. So I will discuss about themes. So we have to use well recognized and somewhat recommended themes. So you can find the themes in the WordPress themes directory. Otherwise, we can buy themes. There are so many vendors we can buy. We have used Elegance theme. It's very cheap. I think it's very cheap and looks good. And WooCommerce, Theme Forest, there are so many people selling plugins, themes, and the plugin same theme. You can download it from plugin directory. So I have used these plugins, WPML. This is to translate the WordPress or multilingualized WordPress system. WP type, I trust that is, I recommend that it is a good plugin to create custom post tag. Then contact form 7. Normally, most of WordPress developers know about that. WP Max we use for WP Max. Then add this for social media sharing. So by using plugins, you can just install this and it will enable functionality just like so before you install the plugin, check the reviews, check WordPress compatibility before you install into the system. So that is about using third-party plugins. So next one is about developing our own themes and plugins. So as I mentioned, try to follow WordPress core concept. So if you want to recreate everything, I don't think it's a good way to just use the WordPress. So there are hooks, it's a WordPress action, and filters, and there are WordPress database function we can use. So try to use that, and it will be, and there may be a function. You might think you have to create this bunch of code, then you may find there is a function for that. So just check about that. Then when you create themes or plugin, just decide who is the target user. If it is for one single client, we don't need to think about much. We can just create. So if it is for another person, I mean developers like us, so we have to think how they can customize, or how they can modify according to their requirement. So that's what I meant. Decide the target users. The next one is modifying a theme. So now you decide, or your client asks, create, modify this theme, elegant themes. So here you have to think how you are going to modify. If you are going to modify the theme, so I suggest, so normally people suggest, create child theme. Child theme is a theme, it inherits, it uses parent theme, just think ABC theme. So if you create child theme, it will inherit all the functionality in the ABC theme. So if you want to change, just think you have to change footer of that ABC theme. So we can just create a footer file, footer section only. So we are safe. Our original theme is there. It will, if we activate the child theme, we will use, the system will use child theme's footer. So why people recommend this? Just think that ABC theme they received an update. So if you want to update it, so when you update, if your code is in the original theme, so it will use our code. So if we create child theme, we are safe. So that will be helpful, and we can start our development very quickly. And it's that's about child theme. I recommend child theme. So people recommend child theme. And modifying plugin, same thing. So when we create plugins, when we modify plugin, we have to think about the client side also, because when we give when we give the project to client, he might just don't know about anything. Just click the update plugin, ABC plugin may prompt the update. He will update and we will use our modification. So think about that also, keep in mind. So the next one is it's about overriding WordPress default query. So WordPress have default query, or WordPress have default method to query the post or post type. So if you just think, when you are in category page, it will retrieve the category according to the post type. So if you just think, you have to query some data in the category page. Just think, you have a category called Google. So you have to just retrieve some data about Google Plus. It's a Google Plus. It is a custom post type. Just think. So if you when you query that, after you query the custom post type, you have to reset the query. Then it will reset to the default WordPress query. So keep in mind, when you change the default query, just to reset. So it will be useful to other developers also, because if you don't just reset and others also continue in the same page, then that may give us problem. So always reset after you change the default query. So next thing, handling the JS and CSS. Normally we do in HTML, we just create script and source file, and CSS just include. WordPress is a unique way to do that. So they recommend, if we follow the same mechanism, just script and location to the script, it will work. But WordPress suggests just to use their recommended functions. they have some mechanism. So you can use the WPNQ script is to include the script. Basically, WPNQ style is a function to include this style. And also, when you develop, they have mentioned WordPress. They have mentioned coding standards. They have PHP and HTML, CSS coding standard. Yes. So follow that. So when you do that, if you are releasing your particular theme as a public theme, or if you are adding to the theme directory, others also may download and see what you have done. So it will be helpful if you are following the WordPress coding standards. If it is the same company, it doesn't matter. We can do our standard. So if you follow that, it will be helpful to others also. And duplicated function. So don't use duplicated functions. When you just check the function page, reference page, if it is duplicated one, they will inform us. So don't use that. After some period, they will just remove the support for the function. So because WordPress is not developed by a simple small community. There are a lot of communities, so people release a function and they will just remove it. So keep in mind to use that. So I think when there's option in WordPress, you can enable the debug. So if you enable the debug, so it will show if there is any duplicated functions. So you might just, so the last part, before you deliver project to the client, just check what is the user role they are getting. So WordPress has 5 user roles. So super admin, there are 6 user roles. There is a concept in multi-site called multi-site. So they have super admin. So when you give a project to the client, think about that also, because you create the system and just think you have 6 custom post types. So if the person delete the custom post type using a plugin, so we will lose our system. So think about and inform them. There are some options. So if they need real WordPress and complete WordPress with admin power, so inform them. It will be helpful to us, because I think we can't track who deleted that. So we can't just say client delete. So we have to keep in mind just to inform them. So the last one is give clear instruction about the update. So if you modify everything, plugin just think you can take console, you modify it, then use updated the plugin, you will lose the modification. Securities. Last one, I'm not a security expert, but I think these are the common things we can follow. First one, keep updated WordPress version. I think the last version is 3.5.2. So keep update. That is what WordPress suggests. Keep updated plugins. Always keep updated plugins. You can ask how we can update plugins in WordPress if we have modification. There we have to think. So if client needs a free set of plugins, so they are free to update. If we modify, we have to inform. So that's true. So never use common username password, the common one. So next one is, when you install WordPress, it will come with user called admin. So WordPress give us option, I think from 3.0, we can change the admin username and the password. So we have to avoid using admin because others can guess and others can just log into your system and delete your things. So keep in mind. So other thing, change the database prefix. So if you look at the WordPress database, they prefix with the term. I think by default WP underscore. So we can change it before we install the WordPress. So WP there is a file called WP config.php. So there we can change that. Then there are some files we can be safe to. It is safe to delete. And only it's safe to delete these files. Read me HTML. Install the PHP. It is in WP. Install the PHP. Upgrade the PHP. Upgrade function the PHP. That's all. Any questions?
Actually, there's a Twitter question here. For you to give an introduction about Twilio PHP SDK.
I think Twilio is a SMS platform. Am I right?
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know about the SDK. I have done any job.
Okay.
Anything else? It's time for competition. What are the required files to create WordPress theme? Sorry. No, there are two files. What are
Speak up.
Index with PHP and style.css. No,
I didn't even answer that question. What's your name? Mayur. Next one. Mention minimum 3 WordPress default post types.
Post, page, navigation menu.
What's the name?
Dakshina.
And minimum 3 files which can be deleted safely. Then we upload into production environment. So it's safe to delete.
Install upgrade frontend. Custom.
Okay, that's all about.
Thank you for coming.